All right. So I am here today with Miss Janet Miller, and we are talking about the Terahertz Wand, the Terahertz Wand 7.0. Janet, welcome to our podcast today. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So, I first off, thank you so much for jumping online with me to talk about it because I've said it many times. People always want to hear from other people what kind of results they're getting from the Terahertz wand. And everybody uses it for something a little bit different. Everybody's story is a little bit different. But I think the feedback getting from folks about their experience, what they're doing, and also how they're using the Terahertz wand, because everybody has a little different way of doing it. And
Yeah.
obviously, each person's a little different. You've had the terahertz one now for about 30 days. Is that right?
Yes.
About 30 days. So, do
Yeah.
you want to go in and tell us kind of some of the things that you're seeing and how it's working for you?
Well, the first thing I saw was that gave me a lot of energy for like 3 or 4 days. I couldn't believe that. But right away from once you start using it, drink after drinking the water that I was able to I have arthritis in my knee. I was able to bend my knee and flex it. And my hip I have arthritis and that felt a lot better. Right the first time using it. I didn't start feeling difference in the back until maybe the second or third time, more flexibility, not hurting as much, and also being able to lift my arms because I have trouble lifting my arms because of I had a spinal compression fracture, and so this is allowing me to have more flexibility to move my body, and
Hmm.
that was the major thing is the flexibility and also pain at night. My pain was my pain during the day too, being able to move was probably 75% less, and I have pain 24 hours a day. It allows me not to move my legs or my body. I become partial paralyzed sometimes, if I do too much moving of my arms or my legs. So that's helped a lot. I'm able to do more things around the house and be able to feel better.
Hmm.
But those were the major things that I found in it, and I'm looking forward to keep on using it so that I can um, possibly be able to get the pain that I have in between my disc and my back because the fracture caused a lot of compression on the disc. So
Hmm.
I've been working on that and my hip. I still have pain in my left hip, but it's getting less and less. Because I had the arthritis in there and I have sciatic. So I run it down. I usually run the Terahertz down my left leg, the middle of my back, but I've had a lot of good luck with pain and inflammation too. The swelling in my legs are not as much. And I can bend my knees, both my knees actually. Before I had to keep my legs straight to walk because the pain was so bad just to move the leg, the sciatic pain.
Hmm.
And I also had pressure in my eyes from some issues with the optic nerve, and I was using it on that, and the pressure. I still have it once in a while, but not as bad. It was really bad for hours, and this has allowed me to only feel it maybe once or twice. Little short pains, so that's helped a lot.
Hmm.
I also have
Um,
Lyme disease too, so
yeah.
that helps with the circulation, my body's
Mhm.
circulation.
So, when you're using it, let's talk a little bit about your protocol. Um, First off, I know you're drinking the water, right?
Yeah, that's really good. I want to get a big gallon of it and put one upstairs and downstairs so I can use it during the day. I've done one glass and taken it down, but also I want to try it on my plants.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Try it on the plants. Yeah.
Yeah. But I wanted to be able to take it downstairs and use it and try to get my daughter to use it too, drink the
Mhm.
water, pour it in from like gallons of spring water, and just use it right from there because
Right.
it really makes you feel better.
It
I
does.
feel a
Yeah.
lot more energy. I think it gives you energy.
Hmm. I have had people tell me, and this is people with COPD, that they could actually feel that they could feel their lungs opening up before they've
Yeah.
even used the wand just by drinking the water.
Yeah.
And so,
I have asthma, and I have a lot of issues, sometimes with breathing, So I found by drinking the water, I do feel like a relief on my left side, my lungs. Also, I found that I use the Terahertz like near my nose, and that area to breathe. I breathe it in like, and
mhm,
so it clears out your sinuses.
mhm,
I feel my sinuses clear, so that
mhm,
I get, for some reason, you breathe better. I try to take deep breaths so it goes down in my lungs to open the bronchial tubes, and
mhm,
that's another thing I forgot about. There's a lot of things we're talking to you, that little things that you don't realize what it's doing. And
mhm.
even I just thought of something I forgot to mention. I have a scar on my hand from, I got uh, a burn a few years ago because went to lift a pan. I couldn't get it out of the oven because with the Lyme disease. And I have a scar, and I've been doing it on my scar, and it's shrinking. I took a picture of it a few weeks ago, and it's getting smaller. And I can't wait until I take a picture and it's all gone. I just thought of
Yeah.
that. It's a good sized scar. See, it's
Oh,
see
wow.
that?
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
was third degree, and it's really shrunk down. I forgot about
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah, when we were talking, there's a lot. I try to take notes on some of the things I saw. You try to figure out how it's helped you, and
Hmm.
that was one of the things I forgot to tell you, because
That's awesome.
that would be amazing how that disappears.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you use the wand, the Terahertz wand, how often and how much time are you using it for? Let's talk a
I
little bit
use
about.
it maybe a half an hour in the morning, and then at night I tend to want to do it longer. I do maybe 45 minutes, because after I do it on my hands, my feet, and my knees, all the meridians, to, to open everything up. And then at the end, I'll go back and do like the problem areas, like where my knee hurts, or my hip, or my back, um, wherever I have pain. And that seems to be how I've been sleeping a lot better than I was, before. I've been actually sleeping, maybe getting maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours sleep more a night, because I get up every hour and a half in pain, and I have
Mhm.
to switch. I have a chair, the remote control chair. On that, I have a hospital bed and a regular bed, so I have three different areas. I'm up like 3 or 4 times a night. I
Mhm.
hope someday I can sleep through like I used to be able to sleep through the night, like go to bed even at 11 and get up at 7. It hasn't
Yeah.
happened to me since
Yeah.
all this happened 2 years ago. I get broken sleep, and my eyes actually been better. They're not as purple, so because I'm gaining more sleep. My eyelids, from not enough
Hmm.
sleep, they tend to get, they hurt because you're not getting your sleep you really need, and you need the
Right.
sleep to heal.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, we talked about consistency earlier and how
Yeah,
often you're using it. And I think, you made a really good point where I think you were doing it 4 or 5 days in a row, and your body would just kind of tell you, hey, the body needs a little time to catch up right now. Take a day off
yeah,
and, just give the body a little bit of time to kind of catch up with, the rejuvenation process and the cells and getting everything,
yeah.
kind of moving. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, I found that after the first time I used it, I was going for 4 days. I was doing so much, I made a lot of different things. I was doing some cooking and stuff, and then each day doing a little bit, because I'm in women's club meetings, and I had to make some stuff for them, but of some fundraisers. But I ended up getting a lot more energy. But like I found the areas that I was working on, there was less pain. I could flex my legs, my hip was feeling better. I could walk. I felt like, I just felt like, I could do a lot more.
Hmm.
And I found after maybe about 2 weeks, that when you have deep pain, I felt like, like I was kind of like healing, the deep pain. And
Hmm.
so I gave myself a couple days off, maybe 2 days off, and
Yeah.
then just didn't do it because um, those days off, I was kind of just sit there and resting and kind of
Yeah.
healing. And then after, like, I just went through that. This yesterday was the first day I didn't do it for 2 days because I felt like I needed a break on it. And I then when I started the second day, I felt like so much better and more energy and all my
Hmm.
just more flexibility. Whole body moves better, the
Yeah.
circulation is better. And um you can, like you said, like you can really, your breathing makes a difference. And I actually looked at the water. Sometimes I found that if you put cold water in the glass, which I know you're supposed to drink warm, I'll take it out of the fridge because I didn't have any warm water out. You could actually, when you do the Terahertz, you can actually see the oxygen bubbles in it. You
Oh,
can
wow.
see, that how they warm it up, and you can see the air bubbles in it. It's amazing.
Mhm.
And to see that when you look at plain water, you can't see that. So all that oxygen you're drinking into your body. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Look, try it sometime with the cold water. You'll see what I mean. It because when it warms up, the oxygen bubbles. You can see there's a lot in there. The whole glass is filled. It's I
Right.
I just noticed that recently.
Yeah.
You know
That's
that it makes,
awesome.
yeah. I want to do, like you
So
said, a gallon of it.
that's awesome. So you had also mentioned something about your teeth when we were talking earlier.
Oh, they felt so much cleaner or something. They just felt good. My teeth. It's like you brush your teeth a couple times a day. I don't know. I just felt like they were cleaner. Oh, and the other thing I found, I kind of went on a system. I might be good to let people know is certain vitamins you have to take with water. Some of them you take with your food. The vitamins I was taking with, I tried to take them when I was doing the Terahertz with the water. So it's in your body. So when your water gets in, it activates them, all those vitamins to move a little faster. And I felt like
Right.
that was helped me a lot. You know, like vitamin B and D, zinc.
Yeah.
Certain things I
Absolutely.
was taking, and that
Yeah.
I found was helping too when I was um, using the Terahertz. That it was
Right.
seemed like it was working faster. The vitamins for me. I just felt better, like,
Yeah.
we have a lot of energy.
Yeah, and the body, all the cells are all sending messages to the brain that they need all these nutrients to kind of do their job. And so
Right.
when the body's getting all those nutrients, it does really help with giving the cells the tools that they need to do their job and, you know, rejuvenate and there's just
Yeah.
so many things that the nutrient part of it. And for the most part, a lot of our diets with the way things are now for us, we don't get a lot of the nutrients our body really needs. So
Right.
to focus on that and to enhance that, gives the body the tools that it's looking for to kind of what we go to say achieve homeostasis, which the
Yeah.
body is perfectly designed. If we just give it, the right energies,
Right.
frequencies, and nutrients, the body can do quite a bit, way more than
Yeah.
I think most people realize.
Yeah. When you said that homeostasis, I have that word in my book. I have a journal, and that was one of the ones I wrote down because once even your brain's off balance and your nerves and all that, it throws everything, all your different organs off. It has to be on a certain rhythm, to
Right,
focus right. And that's why the frequency kind of balances your rhythm. I don't know.
right.
That's the easiest way I can describe it. It's
Hmm.
amazing. Um, your body is like so amazing what it can do,
It
you know?
really is.
And
It
I
really
never
is.
knew this. I never knew this until I got sick with that. I told you I used the frequency music to heal myself. And then I knew this is when I saw this frequency, the Tellurist. Oh my God. I said, this is unreal. Because it was what I was hoping for, for
Right.
5 years. I've been waiting
Yeah.
for it to come to the United States because I heard about it and I did a lot of research on it. And I'm looking forward to trying to use some of the other products to see how
Hmm.
they help because like I said, I have the Lyme disease, and Lyme disease is really bad because it's in my bones and everything. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that in plasma, I read about your
Yeah.
plasma there.
The plasma is super powerful. The plasma technology, when you're dealing with Lyme, you're really dealing with like 12 frequency codes because there's different variations. There's all different layers that kind of go into Lyme, and there's a hatchling one, and there's different virus frequencies that you're going after. The
Yeah.
sound frequency watch is probably the first thing, because the sound frequency watch, I've got one around here somewhere, but it has all the line frequencies.
Oh,
That's using sound frequency. But when you get into the next, so you have sound, PEMF, and what we would call biophotonic or light frequency. And so the watch is going to be the quickest, fastest, least expensive. Then you get to the PEMF, which then you can go in and you're basically surrounding yourself with this frequency. You're wrapping yourself up in a blanket, and it's sending those frequencies into the body. The watch is doing it, sending sound into the wrist.
yeah.
The blanket is basically sending frequencies, and the blanket has silver thread, so the silver in the blanket is sending it directly into the body. That's the second way of going about it. And then the third way of going about it with the plasma energy is biophotonic, or basically light energy, where it's sending that frequency of through basically light and photons into the body. So there's
Mm.
three different ways you can get that frequency and that technology, and all those are very powerful. And with Lyme disease, obviously, there's a whole host of frequencies. They can be run on any one of those technologies, but basically, there's thousands of frequency codes that can be run on
Oh,
plasma, on PEMF, and so you could start with, say, the Lyme stuff because that's your
yeah.
primary focus. But you can get into all different types of there's literally about 3,500 frequency codes. There's more than
Wow.
that even, but a lot of them are for energy, a lot of them for rejuvenation, a lot of them are for a lot of metaphysical things. But all these different things. But the beauty about it is that the wand has scalar energy, which is pretty amazing for a little tiny device to throw off scalar energy, because a lot of these really powerful energy systems are throwing off scalar energy. They're creating scalar energy fields, whether it's through plasma energy or lasers, and they create these big fields that basically engulf the entire body. So your whole body is in a scalar energy field. But for that little handheld device to be able to point it and have that scalar energy is very powerful. And then you couple that with the far infrared technology, the terahertz frequency, which is an optimal frequency that your cells resonate at, which is good for lifting the cell vibration rate, which is, basically how we determine a healthy cell from an unhealthy cell, is the rate of vibration by the cell, which is where Tesla, Lakhovsky, and all these people figured out that it was the oscillation rate of the cell, or how many times it vibrates, that determines what type of a healthy condition it's in. And then we throw in the quartz crystal technology, which is another technology in the Terahertz Wand. So you're basically using a culmination of four different technologies in that little device. And so when you're pointing it, it does penetrate about 8 to 10 inches into the body. So, you can reach the internal organs. I think we had talked about that, where you had some issues maybe with the stomach in that area. But like, even when you're talking about using it for your eyes, you don't even need to point it into your eyes. You could go right off the side of your head and get into those areas right there where you've got
Yeah.
those optic nerves and you've got all those things. And,
Yeah.
just close your eyes. And if for anybody out there that's watching the video, if you're using it on your eyes, just a minute or two is all you need, because
Yeah.
the eye is a very small piece of soft tissue. So when you're doing it on a very small piece of soft tissue, you just don't need the amount of energy that you would use when you're talking about using it for your sciatic pain, which is in your hips and lower back. There, right, you're dealing with a lot of mass. You've got bone and muscle and cartilage and all those different things. It's a bigger, wider area that has a lot more, areas to hit. So you can use it there for, a good solid 10 minutes or whatever it might be, 10,
Yeah.
15. So
Because it's deep. Yeah.
because it's deep, exactly, and you want to penetrate. It's a larger area of mass that you're getting after. So all these different things sort of culminate. But when you're using that, you're giving the body the energy the body needs to kind of do its thing. And there's a process of detoxification going on. You're opening up the cells now to receive nutrients. You're enhancing circulation. You're enhancing cellular regeneration. And so there's all these different things that are going on from the body, getting that energy and kind of getting that jump start, if you will. And so that's why having a day off once in a while, depending on what you're using it for and the length of use, it's always good to just say, look, let me give my body a day to kind of catch up to this. And I think we had talked earlier, it's been 30 days, but the goal really is consistency. You kind of brought that point up.
Yeah.
Consistency of use is really the long-term goal.
Yeah. You really should, it should be a consistent every day until like you feel like if your body tells you, like I said, that I was getting, it's healing, but it was getting overwhelmed because there's so much going on. Everything's, moving faster. So
Right.
those days I would just I actually felt tired. You need a real rest. And when you relax, your body is healing. You know what I mean? I usually
Absolutely.
can't relax. I sit here and because I can't do much because I'm in pain. And your mind is like saying you want to do something, but you can't, gives you that anxiety. But
Yeah.
I found that because I haven't slept for like a year and a half, it was able to kind of relax me to let your body go and heal.
Right.
It's amazing. It's really amazing. I tell everybody about it because I'm so excited. I have my sister has lymphedema really bad, and her legs are swollen like 3 times the size they should. And
Mhm.
oh, I want to get over to her house and try it on it, but I want to try it slow because I don't, know that much with lymphedema and what's going on with her. But I can't wait to try to introduce it to other people, family and friends that are suffering. A lot of people suffering in
A
pain.
lot of people suffering. Just real quick on lymphedema, we've got a doctor, Mike Van Thielen, that does a lot of calls with us. And lymphedema obviously is swelling. The body's trying to retain water. The wand will assist, or you can definitely use the wand for that. But one thing that the doctor had said is that you need to drink a lot of water because it's the body's trying to retain and hold on to water. But if you start getting a lot of water into the body, in addition to whatever other things you're going to do, that's going to really be helpful.
Yeah,
Um, so that
yeah,
would be, just something else that you want to pass on. I think we also, you address the vitamins and the minerals and putting those extra things
yeah,
in your body, which is also very helpful. As I do this more, I'm really understanding how powerful the nutritional aspect of this is, and having the right nutrients and the right things for the body, getting the good things in and trying to keep out as much of the bad things is always going to be helpful. So any
mm,
modifications or anything that people do as they look at that. And it can be a gradual process. I mean, sometimes I can be a little overbearing and I can say, well, we got to do this. And, but, I'm 57, and certainly at this age, I've got a lot of habits that I've developed over a period of years that can be a little bit difficult to break. But I think the main point that I'm usually trying to make is just be conscious of that.
be
And as
aware
you
of it.
see
Yeah,
results, yeah, be realistic for what each person's, going to be at. But if you
yeah,
understand that, and as you start seeing progress, you'll start letting go more, and you'll say,
yeah,
okay, I'm really starting to feel good. So let me do a little bit more to try to make this happen even
yeah.
faster.
I
Um,
wanted to try to ask. Had a question. Have you had any cases where people because I found that I drink a lot of water anyways, but because I it makes me feel good drinking water. But I
mm,
find that I'm um releasing a lot of fluid, probably the toxins are coming out more. And yeah, I feel like the swelling's coming out. So you tend to I don't know if I lost weight, but tend to feel like not so swollen,
mhm,
bloated. And because I know my sister with the lymphedema, she went in the hospital 4 days, and I don't know what they did to her intravenous, but she lost 35 pounds in
wow,
a couple of days. But then when she got
wow,
home, she her body was over done, like healing, that her blood pressure dropped real low. She almost died, and she didn't know what was happening. So they cut back the flu pills that they were giving her regular
mhm,
doctor, and then she was lucky to get through that process. But that was like I was telling you, sometimes your body it was healing too fast. That's why her
yeah,
blood pressure dropped. But I was thinking um because I had a nutritionist I spoke to, and they told me some little tips about certain food eat walnuts that'll cling on to fat and release it from your body. I didn't know that because I eat very good. I eat a lot of natural stuff and fruit and stuff like that. But I tend to keep the weight on. I don't know why. And a lot of I think it's inflammation. But I was thinking, do you know anything about focusing on your thyroid or to get that activated? Or you think that
The
with the
thyroid is
terahertz,
yeah, the thyroid is absolutely something you want to focus on. Now, once again, the
is that
thyroid is
near your
very
neck?
small. Yeah, it's right in the side of your neck over here on mine. It's over
Yeah,
here, on the right hand side. So, but the thing with the thyroid, once again, is it's a very small little gland, right?
so just
So
to,
you could just, yeah, you can just use it for just 2 or 3 minutes at a time because ultimately the thyroid, the liver, and the kidneys are holding on to toxic material. And you want to release that toxic material in a slow fashion.
yeah,
And we have another doctor that we've had on a couple times, Dr. Ben Goyne, and really brilliant guy, but he's talking about how these organs in the body are really being taxed very heavily because there's a lot of heavy metals. There's
yeah.
a lot of things within the food system, chemicals and things that
Oh yeah,
that that these organs are basically taking it upon themselves to get out of your system. And so it's almost like a filter, like an air filter for a car or your oil filter. Eventually that needs to get cleaned out. And so
mm,
there's that, you know, what I'm learning about real health and wellness is that the Terahertz Wand is a brilliant device, brilliant. But if you're not getting the nutrients, if you're not trying to address toxic heavy metals, there's layers of things that you want to incorporate into your lifestyle to make every one of these things work a little bit better. So if
faster.
you're
Yeah,
right? So you hit the nail on the head, though, when you talked about I'm doing more vitamin B and you're getting these additional
yeah,
nutrients. Well, of course, now you're seeing better results because you're getting the nutrition that the body needs. Now we start these detoxes because what happens with the thyroid is when that thing gets clogged up and that thing starts bogging down, it affects your metabolism. And when your metabolism slows down, now it's much easier to put on weight. And so
yeah.
it and this isn't me, it isn't you, this is our entire country. This is pretty much the
Yeah.
world, but the United States is the worst. But
Uh,
70% of the United States right now is overweight. You know,
yeah.
I'm not going to get into age talking, but
Yeah.
as a kid,
Even young
I've
kids.
watched, yeah, and I've watched this progress. It wasn't like that when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
As I got into my college years, okay, a little bit more, and then as I got into my adulthood, a little bit more, and now it's pretty much epidemic. And I think it's 70 million people either are diabetic or pre-diagnosed to be diabetic. So there is certainly something that's gone on within the last 20, 30 years that we're seeing, and it's affecting our population, right? So as that's the beauty about what we do. That's the beauty about these calls that we do because we can break it down and talk about each person's individual journey and how a lot of the technology is super beneficial. And if you're going into the and also, so anybody out there watching the video with the Terahertz Wand, slow and steady wins the race. If you're going and using this on your kidneys, very slow, very short. The 7.0 wand, which happens to be our best seller, maybe you do that for 4 or 5 minutes, maybe for the 6.0, or 3 or 4 minutes, maybe a few little longer for the 6.0, and the Pro Wands obviously even less. um, but there's a lot of toxic material in our body. And one last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to throw it back to you. I recently had a call from a woman who got exposed to a lot of toxic stuff, black mold, all different kinds of things. Also, people that have gone through severe trauma, say you've been in a car accident, all that trauma and stress goes into your muscle, right? It literally goes into your muscle
Tightens it
tissue,
up.
it tightens it up. And then when you're using the wand, you're opening it up and you're releasing that.
Yeah.
And anybody that's had a deep tissue massage, when you're getting that deep tissue massage, you're basically pushing that toxic stuff out of the muscle
Yeah.
tissue. And so many times your nose is all stuffy and it's like, oh man, I feel great because my body feels good, but you can feel that a lot of stuff has been pushed out of your body. And the
Yeah.
massage therapist always tell you, as soon as you get done, drink a couple glasses of water. Well, the same thing with the wand. So, initially, depending on your body type of, if you've been in a lot of stress or if you've had issues or you've been exposed to different things, slow and steady
Mhm.
wins the race. People always ask, how long should I use it for? I prefer to always err on the side of caution and say, look, just try it out for 5, 10 minutes, use it through your body, see how it feels, make an assessment, in 24 hours, and and then but do it that way. Do it slow and steady. Like for you now, and maybe even initially, you were able to do it for longer periods of time, but you just want to start slow because it's definitely it's a very powerful little device, and you want the body to kind of get acclimated to it, just like you would if you're going out tanning in the sun. You start with just a little bit of time, and eventually you can lay out, half the
Yeah.
day. So just a few points that are kind of good to bring up while we're kind of in this segment. Now, one thing I did want to talk about just real quick. You told me a story about your daughter. Were you able
Yeah.
to use it for your daughter?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she woke me up one morning. She messaged me on the phone at 4 o'clock. I'm on, Mom, are you up? And she said, I need you. I'm in bad pain. My back, I can't move. So I went in a room and I told her, she wouldn't get out of the bed or anything. She said, she wouldn't even get out of the bed she wanted me to get a Tylenol. I says, well, before the Tylenol, I want you to do the Terahertz. And she was a little adamant, but then I had to drink the water, and I started doing open the meridians, all the steps, and where she's little and everything, she's just like 125 pounds. I said, the first time I used it, I didn't want to overdo it. So I did all the basic steps, just open all the meridians. And then
Hmm.
after I did that, I started doing up and down her, the front of her. And then I went in the back, because the back is where she had the pain. And within, like, I'd say about 20 minutes after, the whole thing. And the last thing I focused on was pain areas. I said, "You feeling better?" She goes, "Yeah, the pain's gone away."
That's
I was
awesome.
so, and she got out of, she was up to move. I told her to sit up. She wouldn't even sit up before I move. So the last couple minutes, I had to sit up and do, all the bottom down to the back, along the hips and everything. And I made her drink the water. And she was like, "Are you feeling better?" She goes, I said, "You believe me now?" And she said, "Yeah." She goes, "I don't have any pain." So
That's awesome.
that was a good experience. Plus, I was thinking about when you just talked about, is I go to therapy for my back and my neck, and I just started on my back, and the sciatica is really bad, and it was around the same time I got the Terahertz. But the first treatment I had was probably the week before the Terahertz, and she tried to touch any part of my body, and I would jump off the table. The pain was so bad because I can't. You touch my hand, you touch, and go to touch my hip or my back. I'd like, oh, and everything she touched, she couldn't do anything the first time.
Hmm.
And after I started using the Terahertz, I had pain but they were able to touch it, and they actually were working out all the way from my back down to my hip, down to my knee, all the tightness. And it was painful. They were doing it, but she was able to do it. And after that, it was like it was opening all the muscles and the ligaments. And I wouldn't have been
Hmm.
able to do that if I wasn't using the Terahertz, I tell you, because you can't touch me. Like if someone was help me walk, and they just touched
Hmm.
my hand, the pain, that's how much pain I'm in. But since I use it, like I said, that's why 75% less pain is all this pain in my whole body that's going away. And that's pretty good, let me tell you.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's super exciting. And I really like what you're saying because, even with your daughter, even though she's not happy, you're
Oh
making her
yeah.
drink the Terahertz water. That's like,
Oh
look,
yeah.
honey, you got to drink the Terahertz water.
Water.
And I really like the fact that you keep talking about the meridians. And when we're talking about the meridians, basically what we're talking about are all the pressure points in the palms,
Yeah.
all the pressure points in the bottom of your feet, and all the pressure points even on your ears, and that goes into acupuncture or
Right.
reflexology. But those are basically energy pathways. They're neural pathways that run electrical circuits through the body. And so when you're doing that first and you're sending all that energy through the body, you're opening up basically all your electrical wiring and getting the body moving and getting all that
Yeah.
electrical energy flowing. And now
Yeah.
when you start getting into the very specific areas, from the feedback that we're getting, people get a much better outcome. And I
Yeah.
love it because it really does give a lot of credibility. Not that there need to be credibility for a lot of acupuncture or Asian, Chinese medicine, which these people
Yeah.
are masters of it. They've been doing
Oh
it
yeah.
thousands of years. But 1 hour of a terahertz wand is equal to 10 hours of acupuncture. And acupuncture is
Wow.
very, very powerful. There's a lot of documented science on that, but we're taking knowledge bases from civilizations that have been
History.
doing health and wellness for thousands of years,
Yeah.
and then coming up with a little modern device and saying, well, okay, we're going to put this thing on steroids now,
Yeah.
and we're going to take all this knowledge, but we're going to accelerate, perhaps accelerate the outcomes by just
Right.
having devices now that they didn't have, maybe,
Years
well,
ago.
heck, in this case, yeah, even 10 years ago, I don't think we really had
Yeah,
these, but
right. I saw I couldn't believe I didn't know about those charts and stuff like that. Like I said, I wasn't into medical until I got sick. All those charts, so I want to get like a chart. Like I said, I remember I mentioned to you it would be good to have something, a little
yeah,
something, just the
yeah,
main meridians on like an index card in the box.
yeah,
But just help doing that would help a lot of people, I think,
yeah.
because most people don't know about that. But when I also saw an article, I didn't even know Tesla had this little box machine that had all different connections to it, and he used to go around, to doctors would use it to do the kidneys, the liver, and stuff. The
Hmm.
frequencies that back in the 1900s, that
Right.
medical, and it all just disappeared.
Yeah,
Never, and it's back.
exactly.
And
It's back
it's unbelievable.
and better than ever. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
better
really
than anything.
exciting.
Better than any
It's really
pill.
exciting.
It's
And
better than taking a Tylenol pill or anything like that. It works right away, like for pain. I know, like I said, right away once you start using it. And it's very, like you said, it actually stimulates your brain, relaxes the muscles because it actually relaxes you, calms you down, so that your body can open everything up and just heal on its own. Because you're
that's
under a
right.
lot of, especially because you're today's world, you're under a lot of tension. So you
Oh
all
yeah.
tighten up,
Yeah.
every day of your life, every day of your
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
you know.
And the beauty about the technology is it's just giving the body what the body needs to do. It's actually the body that's doing all the work,
And the
but
work, yeah.
we're kind of just giving it a kickstart, giving it the energies, the frequencies, and sort of the stuff that it needs to just kind of get it into gear.
You're
And
just
then,
activating it, like, you're just activating your body to wake up to something that
exactly.
already know. It's like we didn't know how to do it anymore. Our body
Right.
like lost it because it's been, like you said, toxins and everything else and stress.
Yeah.
Not going out and just going out. Like I even find more, I enjoy going out because of the weather and that, but just getting outside and seeing the beautiful sky and the sun and what God created. And we were created. I tell people God created us in the image of Him, and
That's right.
it's unbelievable. He gave us this power that we can do so much in our body. We
Yeah.
just don't know. We lost it. We don't know how much we have inside of us that can activate to make us feel better. You
That's
know.
right. Yeah. No, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff going on in the world right now. So we're very lucky.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. We need it. I'm interested. Um that doing the ground and the ground and technology and the plasma, those two things. But I told you I saw some sandals you can buy, grounding sandals that I want to
Yeah.
get for my son, which is pretty interesting. I didn't
Yeah.
know they had them, so
That's
I'm
awesome.
thinking of them.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is the grounding technology is so powerful, right? It's so incredibly powerful. And okay, I just have to throw this out there, Janet, because when I first hear grounding, I'm thinking we're going back to Woodstock. I'm thinking
Yeah,
hippies. I'm thinking like that whole time
yeah,
frame of generation, right? But grounding is really scientific and it's bringing the earth energy into the body, which is also essential. It's bringing electrons into the body, electrons coming from the sun, bouncing off the earth, going up in the atmosphere. They're basically what lightning brings them directly into the earth. The earth is basically iron and nickel primarily. And so when our body physically touches the earth, we're not only absorbing that earth frequency, which is good for us, but we're bringing electrons into the body. Those electrons are neutralizing free radicals. Free radicals are little cells running around your body that are missing an electron. And because they're missing an electron, they're unstable and they're bouncing all over the place, doing a lot of damage, basically creating silent inflammation. And
oh,
so The minute that we had rubber sole shoes, we disconnected from the earth. And back in the day, though, when people were still wearing leather, leather still was conductive,
Oh,
so you could still bring it through with leather. But myself, I'm not making a lot of contact with the earth, but the earth and grounding sheets, bed covers, all that earth and grounding technology, a whole nother subset of technologies out there designed to bring the body what it needs when you're on the blanket or you're using the pillowcase or any of those earth and grounding fabrics. It's non-different than physically making contact with the earth. So you're basically using your grounding rod to bring that earth energy. The material is all made with basically fabric. It's got all the silver in it, and so it's the
mm,
silver plugging into the grounding rod that's pulling it from the earth into the fabric, which just one more time goes into the layers, right? Another layer, another layer, another layer. And the goal really is to get as many of these layers of technology, because when you're using that grounding technology, you're using it while you sleep, which is ideal because we all have to sleep 8 hours a day. This technology also has far infrared. You get 8 hours of far infrared, but it's another technology. Now your body, in between the sessions of the Terahertz Wand, got 8 hours of being grounded, which put electrons in, which reduce more free radicals, which now on the next step, when you're using the Terahertz Wand, the body's still getting a little bit of a boost and a little bit of help and a little bit of assistance to get the nutrients and the things that we need. And the funny thing is, we're in the modern day world, but there are things like rubber sole shoes that, even though they're super comfortable, are blocking our body from getting the electrons we would normally get just making contact with the earth.
barefooted. Yeah,
We're
going
all talking
barefooted.
about that's right. And we're as
Barefooted.
kids, we were always barefooted, right?
Yeah, yeah, and just when you think about it, you know, just the feeling of just touching the earth, because like you said, all those things are absorbed into the earth, so they're part of like the earth's body, like
That's
it's
right.
that's how it gets nutrition for the trees to grow and the grass, the water, everything to
Yeah.
function just like us, like the water function, the earth functions like that, the weather. It's
Yeah.
amazing, huh?
Yeah, and it pulls that positive EMF out of our body. We have that
Water.
positive charge EMF. So when we're getting hit with all the electronic devices and it's coming into our body and our body stores it, that's another thing. So when you're touching the earth, the instant you touch the earth, it instantly pulls that out. Or you're touching the anti-aging bed covers or any of those different things. So anybody out there listening to this, we're back in the summertime months. I know there's times of the year in certain parts of the country you just can't get outside. But now's the time of year when you can. And if you can incorporate even 10 or 15 minutes, getting out back, finding a bench, and just getting your feet on the ground for 10 or 15 minutes to get all those, because your body absorbs those electrons so quick. It does hit a point where it's got what it needs for that time. It'll neutralize those free radicals, it'll bring more in. But all these different things that we can do are just so incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
And so, Janet, I think I'm not sure how long we've been going here, but I have a
Don't want to.
tendency.
You don't want to start talking to me. I won't be able to. If I started talking, I could tell you so many different things. I go on and on for hours.
But what
Like I said,
and
I
I'm the
think in
same
some
way.
of the I've been so excited about the Terahertz. I every time I talk to someone about it's better to talk to someone about the Terahertz when I'm feeling better than talking to them about all the pain I'm in. You know.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, what I'm going to do is we'll wrap this up. But before we go, um, any last things you'd like to say to anybody before we go talking about the Terahertz Wand, the 7.0 Terahertz Wand that you're using?
No, I just want to tell anybody that it's worth trying. And you feel a difference right away, and we can help. I'm so excited about using the other products and also continue using this so I can keep on getting better, and I'd like to try to help other people and spread the word, to help heal. People out there suffering a lot of pain, like you said, the toxins that we take in our body, and this is amazing, this technology. I'm so
Hmm.
glad I'm so glad I kept on saying I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it. And I'm so glad I did because it's the only thing that's helped me. There was nothing else could be done. The doctors weren't gonna be able to help me. There's too many things. When you have so many issues, it's hard because your body's
Hmm.
just breaking down. And this is the only thing that's gonna go in and to your bones and your cells and actually let your body heal on its own, you
Yeah.
know? It's really amazing. I can't believe how amazing it is. People, I like to try it on, different people and then they can see.
Yeah. Well, the beauty of it is I always tell people, the story always starts with you first, right? And
Yeah.
when people know, hey, this is Janet, and I know she's had issues, and wow, all of a sudden I see that she's moving better and
I
she's feeling
know.
good and she's smiling more and
Yeah.
she's got her arms up in the air and she's
Yeah.
doing stuff she wasn't doing months ago. Well, now all of a sudden they're curious, and nobody really cares about the technology. They don't care about what is terahertz and they don't care about what is scalar
Yeah.
energy. They're just like, I
Yeah.
don't know what the heck that little red thing is that you're using, but
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah.
use it on me, because you become your own story. And we, in our
Yeah.
industry, sometimes we call it a pain to purpose story, where you're in a lot of pain, but through the process of finding what it was that helped you, it gives you a purpose to be able to go out then and start helping other people.
Right.
And
Right.
so,
Yeah.
that's certainly
I
what's going
even
on
used it.
here.
I started using it, to blow dry the hair because my
Yeah.
hair was losing my hair. That was
Yeah.
another thing. My hair was thinning, and it's only been a month, and I have very fine hair, anyways. And I feel it's more body and it's getting thicker because I use it to dry my hair. And the other thing I heard a testimony someone was telling me I'm going to try tomorrow is take a face cloth and do the Terahertz on the face, wet face cloth, do the Terahertz on the face cloth and put it on your face or your leg or your knee if your
Yeah.
knee hurts or your hip, and it will absorb through the skin fast, to your
Wow.
body. So that might be an idea for some people too. I just thought of that. I'm gonna
That's a
try
great
that.
idea.
If I talk to you, I'll let you know how that is. Because
That's a great idea.
like a warm face cloth and you do the Terahertz on it,
Yeah.
and you just do, and it goes it almost like, if you did something a hot patch, like if a cold when you want to do.
Yeah.
So, but the difference is it's in the water. The water will absorb into your skin. You know. I'll have to
That's a
try
great
that.
point. We've got a couple testimonials from a good friend of mine, Daniel, up in Canada. And, Daniel, he didn't have any hair for a very long period of time. His wife, Claire, is always on the calls with him. She kind of giggles when they talk about it. But what he did, which is exactly kind of what you were just saying, is he actually terahertz
Right.
wanded some water in a spray bottle and then sprayed it on the top of his head and then started terahertzing it. And on our second call, the first call, we didn't have good lighting. The second call, you can clearly see he's got a lot of hair that's starting to grow
Yeah.
there. And that kind of goes with what you're talking about, even with the putting on a washcloth or something, the terahertz water, putting on your face and using it. I mean,
Yeah.
the ideas and the uses and the creativity that people come up with when
Come
they
up with.
have this
Yeah.
technology, that's how I learned. I learn a
Yeah.
lot through
Right.
people like yourself, and that's another reason why I love doing these calls.
It would be nice to but that was a good example. Like put it in a spray bottle, and if you go outside or you go to the beach or something, use
Mhm.
it to spray your body. Because then you're
Absolutely.
absorbing all the good stuff from being outside and that. And when you outside, take it and feel. That's why I've been trying to do during the day. I want to get a bigger jug to drink it without doing the blowing. I think you're gonna get some because you drink it in your water and it's gonna help you during the day absorb the
Yeah.
nutritions from your food and that. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of good things out of, that you can get from other people. Those people you talked about, the doctors and that with the
Mhm.
conditions that, how do you find them are they on your website, any of those?
They're on my website. Yeah. They're
So
well,
what do
they're
I
not on the
just,
website, but are so what I did is I pointed a domain name to my YouTube channel. So if you just type in medbedvideos.com,
oh, okay.
www.medbedvideos.com, it'll take you right to my YouTube page.
Uh,
I found that was a quick and easy way just to get people to the YouTube page. But when we were talking about lymphedema, the body is retaining water because the body feels like it's like it's in the desert, and it's like. And so what Dr. Mike Van Thielen had said, and Dr. Mike is on there. I've probably done 6 videos. I was actually just texting him before we got on the call today to do another one. But he said that the body is clinging to water because it's feeling that it needs to, and the best way to address, or one of the ways to address lymphedema, is to basically give the body a lot of water, drink a lot of water.
uh,
And so I would use the wand, obviously, but I would also make sure that there's a set amount of water that you're drinking every day. Terahertz water, ideally, and we also have this plasma energy water,
Yeah.
which is you can do both. You can have plasma energy water, then terahertz it. But you do whatever you can do, whatever you've got available. But
Yeah.
he's got a really good segment on there, and that's something that we definitely want
I'll look it up.
to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So,
Well, I'm
um,
excited about getting better. I've
yeah,
been
well,
sick
thank
for
you so
so
much for your
long.
time today. I mean, I nothing makes me happier than to see a big smile on your face. I can tell you're
Yeah.
feeling better.
Oh
We've
yeah.
talked on the phone many times before we did the call today, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come on, share the story. Like I said, it's everyday people using this technology that are each person's it's affecting them a little differently. But I think that as people start seeing different stories, and then there's people out there that'll resonate and say, I feel like Janet did. I kind of had that issue, or I had a bad back, or my arms, whatever it was. They go, okay, I can see that she's getting some benefits from this. Let me give it a shot. And sometimes it'll work real fast. Sometimes it might take a few weeks to really start seeing improvement. But the whole thing is slow and steady wins the race. Most of the time, people are all messed up. It didn't happen overnight. It happened over a period of days, weeks, months, and years. And you need to give the body time to do what it can do. And just use it as part of your daily routine. Even for myself, I'm using it a lot of the same ways you do, but I'm feeling good. It's not that I necessarily need it for a herniated disc or different things, but I want to maintain good overall health.
Right.
And so I use it a lot just for mouth, teeth, gums, face. I'm also using it for the hair, because I
Mhm.
want to keep my hair thick. I mean, why wait until it starts thinning out more that I say,
Yeah.
oh my God, I got to start doing it. It's like, no, because it does feel good and I do get a lot of energy from it. So,
Yeah. I think we don't realize, well, you know what the problem is? We worked all our life. I worked my whole life, lot really hard work. I used to work 60 hours a week. My husband's handicapped for 12 years and I raised two teenage daughters and worked 60 hours. And you get so wrapped up in working, you don't even think about your health and all the stuff that you're doing to yourself over
yeah,
years. And especially after you reach 30, when you're 30 and on, you start going, things start breaking down. You don't even realize what you're doing to your body
right.
until it's later on, when you start getting the pain because your body's
Yeah,
telling the pain is telling you, your body's telling you there's something wrong. Pain
yeah,
tells you something wrong
yeah,
when you have pain. And we don't know because we just think it, like I said, you can have a back pain. You think it's your back when it's really could be an organ in your body. That's what I found out.
yeah.
And um, that's why we have to try to heal ourselves. And we're just so busy wrapped up in this world that we don't take the time to do that and listen to our body.
That's
And
right.
that's when you start doing this terahertz and that you say, oh my God, you can't believe how much power your body has.
That's right.
You just have to wake it up and wake yourself up saying, geez, I feel great. It makes you feel like you were younger and you don't have that
Exactly.
pain and you can move around. Why is your body breaking down when it shouldn't be? Because, we should be able to live, I'm 67 and I don't feel in my mind in that I'm old, but my body feels like it because it's breaking down. So for this to work on me and feel pain, the pain go away and I can sleep better, and because it's been almost 2 years, and to be able to move my arms and legs like I used to, I'm saying, oh my God, it's helping me so much. I want to keep on using it and get better and better, till I reach a
Yeah,
level that I can, like you said, maintenance yourself really,
that's it.
because this you can maintenance yourself and then you can figure out what's wrong with you because your body's telling you, you know,
Right.
it's
Well, Janet,
unbelievable.
yeah, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh,
Stay with
thank
me here.
you.
I'm going to go ahead and end the video, but I'll stay with you here for just a second. Thanks
Yeah.
again. We'll catch up
Okay.
with you again soon, another 30, 60 days.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, take care.